Europe, a continent filled with diverse cultures, rich history, and influential leaders, has seen its fair share of political turmoil and revolutionary changes. Wars like the First World War and the Second World War have been fought here, conflicts that still shape our world today. But have you ever wondered who was the first dictator of Europe? When we hear about dictators, the first name that often comes to mind is Adolf Hitler, who spread his reign of terror in this region as well as other parts of the world. But was he the first dictator of Europe? To find the answer to this question, let's delve deep into the history of Europe. From ancient times, European countries were predominantly ruled by monarchies, with kings and queens at the helm. These rulers were often believed to be descendants of gods, particularly during the medieval and early modern periods. This belief, known as the divine right of kings, posited that a monarch's authority was derived directly from God, granting them considerable power and legitimacy. But how did this belief come to an end? And why do we see so much democracy in Europe today? The downfall of monarchies in Europe began with the French Revolution. In the late 18th century, the people of France rose up against the absolute monarchy of King Louis XVI and his queen, Marie Antoinette. Their execution on the guillotine in 1793 marked a pivotal moment in history, signaling the end of absolute monarchy in France and the rise of a republic. However, the French Revolution soon led to another form of autocratic rule. Napoleon Bonaparte, a military general who emerged from the chaos of the Revolution, declared himself Emperor of France in 1804. While not a dictator in the modern sense, Napoleon's rule was characterized by centralization of power and authoritarian governance. His reign, which lasted until 1814, demonstrated how revolutionary movements could sometimes pave the way for new forms of despotism. Fast forward to the 19th century, Europe was a continent in flux. The Napoleonic Wars had reshaped borders and political alliances, but it was the First World War that truly transformed the political landscape. The war resulted in the defeat of the Central Powers and led to the collapse of several empires, including the Russian, Ottoman, German, and Austro-Hungarian empires. This marked the beginning of new political structures in Europe. In Russia, the Bolshevik Revolution of 1917 brought an end to centuries of Tsarist rule, leading to the establishment of the Soviet Union under Vladimir Lenin. Lenin's regime, and later that of Joseph Stalin, were characterized by totalitarian control. But Lenin wasn't Europe's first dictator either. At this point, let's turn our attention to Italy, where we find perhaps the first modern dictator in Europe, Benito Mussolini. He ruled Italy and led them in World War II until his horrific death on the 28th of April, 1945.